Good afternoon, I'm reporter Kate Prestak. News 2 is your local election headquarters. And with that, we're bringing you a CountOn2.com series called To the Point, where we take a look at hot button issues with local analysts to speak on their effects in the Low Country. On Saturday, the first in the South presidential primary election will take place in South Carolina. And with me today to speak on this past week's events leading up to it is our analyst, GOP Chairman Drew McKissick. Thanks for joining me.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
I want to begin this roundtable by going over what we saw in the Democratic debate and talking about the effects we're seeing alone in the Emerson poll. This measurement was with 550 people and only 371 reported watching the debate. Of the 371, 39% believe Biden to have done the best, while 18% thought that Sanders was the winner. What did Vice President Biden do that you believe connected him more to South Carolina voters?
Well, you know, by and large, probably just having a little bit more of a moderate tone than Bernie did during the debate. I mean, South Carolina is not as liberal of a state as some of your other states around the country, even on the Democratic side of the aisle. You know, one debate does not an election make.
Going back to the debate, chaos in Russia were brought up a lot. And the name of a newly Republican-driven initiative is called Operation Chaos, where Republicans enter into the Democratic primary and vote for Senator Bernie Sanders. Do we believe that these two are connected?
No, I do not. And look, I mean, the state Republican Party has not endorsed that effort. I mean, there are a lot of folks who have said they want to do that, and that's fine. I mean, you know, in South Carolina, we don't register by party, unfortunately, in my opinion. Everyone is free to vote in whichever primary they would choose to vote in. You know, for me, I can't find anybody on that side of the aisle that I would recommend anybody vote for. So, you know, that's an easy decision for me. You know, but this is the kind of thing that, you know, sort of gets legs on its own because of the media. I mean, there's so much media interest in the primary that anything like that just sets people off. It's like chasing a squirrel. You know, they're gone and they're talking about it, and it takes up a life of its own. And, you know, I think we'll have a little bit of a better view come Saturday night when the networks do exit polls and to see whether or not that actually materialized and had any impact whatsoever.
There are two bills that are going around the State House at this moment. The first one I'd like to get your opinion on is a legislative piece that would, in so many words, have all those that vote in Saturday's Democratic primary to vote again next Democratic primary. What are the thoughts there?
Well, actually, I attended the hearing where they were discussing that bill in the State House this past Wednesday, as a matter of fact. And even one of the Democrats on the committee, actually the chairman of that committee, subcommittee rather, believed that the bill was unconstitutional.
Obviously, there is a second bill that is being proposed about closing the open primary and making it more so you'd have to register with a party to vote. Do you think that that's going to be deterring any South Carolina voters from going if this bill does pass?
No, I don't. I mean, look, as a party chairman, I recognize that one of the most important things that a political party can do is actually nominate candidates for office. I mean, political parties are people who believe certain things, come together, they want to organize and elect people who think like they do to office, so the most important thing they can do is nominate candidates. So, you know, the fact that we have a system which we basically inherited, you know, from the days when everybody in the state was a Democrat 60, 70 years ago. Well, if everybody's in the same party, then there really is no party. So we didn't have partisan registration, and the Republican Party grew up essentially under that system. But when it comes to actually, again, nominating our candidates, and then we have to open that process up to everybody in the world who might not believe as we do, is unfair to a political party, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, in my opinion. This particular bill that you're talking about would essentially give parties the option. What it would do is it would say that when you register to vote, you pick a party, or you can choose independent or unaffiliated. And then it would give the parties the option whether to close their primary completely just to people who are registered with their party, or they could have the option of opening their primary up to those who are independent or unaffiliated, which I think, again, rightfully gives the parties the option to decide who they would like to have helping to choose their candidates.
So you'd definitely be in favor of that bill?
Absolutely. Now, our party has endorsed having some form of partisan voter registration. There's a different bill similar to that one, which is in the House Judiciary Committee right now, which we've got about 45 co-sponsors on. So we've been advocating that for a while. You know, and with all the hustle and bustle over Santee Cooper right now in the legislature, I don't know if we'll get to it or not this year, but I'm hopeful.
What do you believe that South Carolinians as a whole care about the most, and who, in your opinion, I know you said you don't really care for these candidates, but who do you believe shows the most focus in that with this campaign?
Well, you know, again, I think Bernie's going to do well. I think Biden should win here. If Biden does not win here, stick a fork in him. He's done. It's over with, you know, okay? But his problem is the expectations game. He has to win really big here. And if he doesn't win big here, I think he's going to limp into Super Tuesday around the rest of the country, and his campaign will sort of become a zombie campaign, you know. And you've got Bloomberg out there spending $500 million in states where Biden can't afford to spend money right now, which is, you know, putting those guys at a disadvantage. So, yeah, I think one of two things is going to happen. Either one, Bernie Sanders will have enough delegates at their national convention to actually be a nominee on the first ballot. I don't think it's likely, but that's option one. Option two, which is probably more likely, is he doesn't have enough delegates on that first ballot. And then you get to the second problem that they have, which is the rules change that Bernie had put in place 2 years ago, which required all the superdelegates to vote on the second ballot. It doesn't allow them on the first ballot. Superdelegates of the Democratic Party are uncommitted. They can vote for anybody they want. Half of them are elected officials who will be running for office this November. They don't want to run on the ballot with Bernie at the top of the ticket. So you could have a scenario on the second ballot where they throw their support to someone else who they think is more moderate. Bernie's crowd gets totally upset, burns the house down, and, you know, they don't want to work in November, and either way it's Christmas for us. Heads we win, tails they lose. So it's good.
All right, well, thank you for joining me. If you're still unsure of who to vote for, take our candidacy quiz on counton2.com, and come Saturday, you can find the real-time election results online and on our social media. In studio, I'm Kate Prestak. Count on 2.